One of the symptoms of the systems collapsing and resources getting more and more scarce is more authoritarian states.
They have to disconnect from you as a human being to be able to give you that kind of pain. Is trying to find an angle to make you protest less.
My name is George. I'm an independent video journalist investigating the growing repression of climate activists across Europe.
We were banned from talking about climate change, even mentioning the words.
We don't have like 1 or 2 court dates, we have like 30.
From Germany to Italy to the UK, I've spoken with legal experts, social scientists, and the activists themselves to understand the full scale of this crackdown and the threat that it brings to democratic participation.
Particular big oil, the only thing they can't buy is mass mobilisation. That is the only thing. And that's why we're seeing this repression being driven internationally.
Could 2025 be the year that peaceful protest is redefined as a crime?
Nobody in this country can imagine our justice system works like that, surely. Lots of people are going to prison for a long time.
This mini-series explores how effective repression can be.
I used to have lots of hope in social change. Right now I feel quite hopeless.
And what that means for the future of our democracy. My journey begins in Leipzig, where I'll be spending the day with a notorious climate activist and a group accused of being a criminal organisation. I arrive at a busy flat share.
Hello?
It had been previously arranged that only one person would speak to me, Miriam, who is one of Germany's most wanted.
This is also for house raids, so we can lock the police out for a couple of minutes before we have to let them in.
Has there ever been a raid here?
Yes. I can also switch on lights here.
So this is our office room, I guess. And it's also where I keep all of my letters from the police.
This entire folder is just paragraph 129, which is my main charge for supporting a criminal organization. I'm not allowed to read anything out of it because that's another criminal offense if I do.
Paragraph 129 of the German Criminal Code is there to combat organised syndicates such as the mafia or terrorists, but it is now being applied to non-violent protesters.
There are some weird accusations that we want to overthrow the system and just use the climate as a means to accomplish that. And it's so weird to me because I'm fighting climate change to make sure that we can still live here together comfortably and that we don't have our democracy collapse. And they make it seem like that's what we want to do, collapse our democracy or, I don't know, overthrow the government. It's just not what we're doing. We're addressing the government to change something.
Miriam has multiple charges against her relating to civil disobedience for the climate activist group Last Generation. But if she is judged guilty using paragraph 129, it sets the precedent, so anyone else associated with Last Generation could be prosecuted equally to ISIS.
What is the worst case? Sorry to ask, but what is potentially what are you scared of most happening?
I think I'm scared of really a lot of time in prison. One of my lawyers said if I have really bad luck, I could end up with 8 years or something. And it's just, feels like then my life is done.
8 years?
Yeah. For paragraph 129, it's a maximum of 5 years. But then it's also charges for bringing a private jet, for digging up a golf court, for shutting off pipelines. The allegations are also for organizing, just in itself. So for giving a talk where I'm just informing people about what's happening. So those charges will all add up with the criminal organization charge if I get convicted for all of those. That's also why it makes no sense to charge us with 129, because you can charge us just for what you have right in front of you. if I spray paint on an airplane, you can charge me for that. So you don't need paragraph 29 to get me convicted.
Miriam faces a total of 43 charges.
I have, on average, probably 1 or 2 court days per month, where I have to go somewhere where I've done a protest and defend myself in front of the court.
Paragraph 129 can also be used for taking preventative measures such as detentions, raids and phone tapping.
I've heard about phone tapping and have you ever felt like they've been onto you in a surveillance sense, or have you heard of?
I haven't just thought I know it because I can read the protocols. Yeah, I've got the file. It's 30,000 pages. Thankfully, I got it digitally. It's also interesting what they pick out, what they decide to print, because I know that on the phone I've also often been desperate, and what they pick out and print in the file is the moments where I make fun of some repression. So yeah, I feel like they're kind of choosing these things a bit, because if I make fun of it, then yeah, they can, of course that's just a coping mechanism for me, but they can use it to say, yeah, she's not regretting anything. And she likes to do this and it's fun for her. And I think that's the picture they want to paint. Yeah. Just seeing the amount of stuff and what they've written about me, and yeah, it's scary, and it just feels like a heavy load on my shoulders, this entire thing. I also found they actually surveilled me. That's so insane. And then I had 2 house raids. Those were also fun. Our weapon is glue. Like, that's the worst weapon we have. It's intense, but that's my life.
Who's just arrived?
This is Charlie. Charlie also lives here.
Miriam's flatmates are all members of Last Generation, and they became more comfortable with me and the camera.
The rest of society just acts like nothing is going on, and then in court people tell you you are wrong and bad, and you are like a criminal. It's so hard to like live in this dissonance.
Why do you think this is all happening?
There are like 3 options: doing what is right, ignore us, or repress us. And well, at least they are not ignoring us.
Do you want to talk with me about what's like the nastiest things that we've experienced in protest?
We can do that, yes.
We talked to Jan about police brutality.
Basically what they do is they grab your arm in a certain way, and you're not allowed to resist in any way when the police grabs you, because that is always resisting against police force. They take your wrist and really bend it. It's basically torture. They make you feel pain for your protests.
It's just so weird because they are following some order, and they don't need to do it. They can just carry us. Like we will not like fight them or anything.
All of Miriam's friends expressed deep concern for her. In March 2025, the Munich Public Prosecutor's Office filed charges against 5 more protesters, who together are accused of forming a criminal organisation. But for Miriam, she's on her own. She has been isolated from the others, and it's very likely that her trial will go first. And I'm curious as to why.
I don't know why Flensburg chose to like only bring up charges against one person for like an organizational paragraph. I think that's strategic. I think that's to like isolate me and split me off of the group. Yeah, it's a bit weird. I can only speculate, but it's really scary. If they convict me, they could after that go to everyone who has supported Last Generation and convict them as well. Of course, every court will decide for themselves, but if you already have one court saying that, it's very likely that others will follow.
The outcome of Miriam's case could prove to be a pivotal moment. Other countries have previously followed Germany as a leader of the Green movement. But if Miriam is convicted using paragraph 129, courts across Europe could follow Germany's lead again. But this move would push the entire climate movement further to the fringes of society and undermine the foundation of our democratic freedoms. And with that, I asked Miriam, how will she plead?
I will plead not guilty to being part of a criminal organization because I don't see Last Generation as a criminal organization. We don't break the law because we want to. We don't break the law because we are getting something out of it. We're breaking the law because our government is breaking the law.